So hey guys, and welcome back, and welcome to my travel guide to Tirana. So as you can see, I'm in this huge square, and this is the centre of Tirana. This is where everything kind of congregates off. We've got a museum there that's being done up. We've got a big opera house here. Got all the government buildings, plus some mosques. There's some statues here with the history of Albania. And as you can see, there's some construction going on with huge new buildings. Albania, Tirana, is a developing, vibrant city. So if you come into Albania, this is where you fly into, Tirana. It's the capital city of Albania. And to be honest, as a budget nomad, I think Albania is one of the best countries in the world to travel, explore, but not spend a load of money. You can live like a king here, and the people are lovely. It's very safe, it's very friendly, and for me, Tirana is not the best place in Albania. There's certainly a lot of better places that I can show you later, but this place is where you begin your adventure. So when you're a budget nomad and it comes to accommodation, obviously you want to stop in hostels. Now I found this one, Tirana hostel. It's around 8 to 10 euros a night, depending on if you go for a 4 or 6 bedroom dorm. You can get it down to around 6 euros. There's one round the corner called Hosting Hostel. That's 6 euros a night on booking.com. The only thing is, there's no signs. This is the first one I've actually found. It's got a sign outside, so a bit weird. So I'd probably recommend this one. It looks quite a nice little place actually. Obviously, you know, you can book it online. So if you're a budget nomad and you can work from a cafe, then yeah, obviously stop in a hostel because you meet people. For me, I need privacy, so I go for Airbnb. So you can get a 1-bedroom apartment for about 150 euros a week. It really is not that cheap in Tirana, unfortunately, for apartments. Hotels are around the same price, about 15 to 20 euros a night. They're certainly not that cheap. Overall, I think the hostels are the best way to go. So if you're after an Airbnb, basically this is kind of the neighbourhood you're going to get an Airbnb in. They're not normally going to be in the centre, they're normally going to be on the outskirts of the city. It's about a 15-minute walk, and they're normally going to be uphill. So most of the Airbnbs you'll find in residential areas like this. This is my Airbnb here. It's 150 euros for a week. Tirana really is not the cheapest place to get an Airbnb or to get any kind of accommodation. So if you're a budget nomad and you can live in a hostel, I'd recommend living in a hostel. You can get them around $10. Airbnb start around 20 euros per night. There really is not many other options. Even hotels are still 15 to 20 euros. It's quite strange because the rest of the country you can get for like 10 euros for a hotel or an Airbnb, but not in Tirana. It's quite expensive. If you want Albanian food, I would recommend just coming to these like private places. Don't go for the really posh ones. These places are very clean, they're very nice, and you can normally get an Albanian meal for around $2 to $3. It's not the cheapest place I've ever been in the world. It's more expensive than say somewhere like Thailand, but it's certainly not that expensive. So you can eat pretty cheap. I got this for 340 lei, which is around $2.50, so pretty cheap. So as a budget nomad, where would you go to hang out and work? Well, you can come here to Tirana Castle. We're just in front of me now. Tirana Castle is basically an area that used to house the Tirana Castle. Nowadays, it's just a place where tourists can come and hang out, and they can you know, work, drink coffee, buy some souvenirs, etc. So this is it. This is the Tirana Castle entrance. So as you can see, there's loads of beautiful cafes and restaurants. It's quite quiet in here as well. I mean, it does get quite touristy sometimes, but you can buy alcohol, nice souvenir for yourself if you want to. One of the things I always think to collect as a budget nomad is these, the fridge magnets. They don't weigh much, and you can always post them home. Just be careful which one you pick, obviously it might get damaged. Go for the metal ones. It might look quite posh and expensive, but actually it's not. It really isn't. Coffee and toast around here, you can get breakfast like less than $2. I've just paid 200 for toast and coffee. So here's another bit you've sightseeing. This is part of the old castle, and that's what Tirana's like. There's no real like museums and stuff where you can go and see it all. It's just kind of dotted around the city. If you're on a really tight budget and you haven't got much money at all, you can come to here, one of the parks, and you can sit. There's loads like this. If the weather's good, you can sit out here for free. Just obviously bring some water, you know, bring your food with you. you can enjoy it. It's pretty quiet. You can actually get work done if you wanted to. One of the main things you can do here, you can go to the House of Leaves. So basically the House of Leaves is the secret surveillance of Albania when it was under Soviet rule by the Russians. And this building here used to be a hospital till the 1930s and then got converted into like a surveillance hub. And if you have a walk around it, the surveillance equipment they have is absolutely fabulous. You can't film inside, but it's a fantastic place to go around. Really, really fascinating. And then right opposite the House of Leaves, you have this huge church here, absolutely massive. Probably the biggest church in Albania, I would imagine. It's a Christian church. It's very nice, but I just love it, you know. But they've got churches all over Albania, you know. It's a very, very religious place, and there's different religion here: Islam, Christianity. Funny enough, actually, Albania classes itself as a secular country. So it's beautiful minaret. When those bells chime, it's really loud, but they're not going to chime for another 15 minutes, unfortunately. Really fascinating. So if you're into religious history and stuff, really worth checking out some of these places. Now, one of the amazing things you used to be able to see here in Tirana was here. It's one of the historical buildings from the Soviet times. It's the Pyramid of Tirana. Unfortunately, right now it's being under construction. It used to be a central point, but at the moment they're doing it up. I don't really know exactly what they're going to do with it. So when you look around Tirana, one of the things you'll notice is there's huge mountains around Tirana. It's a mountainous place, Albania. So if you do like trekking and getting out about, you can take a taxi and you can go walking in the mountains around the city. So there is certainly plenty of things to see and do. Now, normally as a budget nomad, you don't really want to be buying high-end stuff, but if you need to get Western stuff, like replace your iPad or any kind of like electronics, go here. Top Tanny. In terms of shopping, there's loads of places where you can get trainers, cheap goods. There's loads of markets and stuff here in Albania. There's no one big market, they're just spread around everywhere, so you just have to walk around the city. If you like walking, you'll love Albania. If you need a haircut, whether a boy or girl, you can normally get a haircut for around $5 to $10 here in Tirana. You need to ask the price before you go in though, because to be honest, I've found the prices vary. Sometimes I forgot to ask. I've been in Albania quite a while, so I forgot to ask how much it is, and they do charge you more if you're a tourist. When it comes to food shopping, there's a couple of places you can go to. You can go to this one, you'll see everywhere, big market. They're not that big, but they're kind of like an Aldi size or Lidl size supermarket. You pretty much can get everything you want here. It's pretty good for most Western food. It's not the best, but you know, you can get pasta and rice. So there is this square here, which is kind of like an indoor market, a really nice place. You get some fresh fruit and stuff, and that's the one thing that's great here in Albania. You can get really fresh fruit and things like that, so you can eat healthy, very cheap. Even honey, for a jar of honey, like 500 grams, is only around $3. It's very, very, very good value. So one of the best shops you can find here in Albania, especially in Tirana, is this one, Rossmann. Basically they're equivalent to like Boots or Watsons in America or the UK. You can find everything here in terms of like toiletries and stuff like that. More importantly, you can also find like snacks and stuff. They are quite cheap, and also travel goods like travel bottles and things like that, and travel accessories. So for travel and everything like that, this is a wonderful place to come. You get all your shaving and everything equipment, and like all the normal brands you would find internationally. So it's quite good. So when it comes to money in Albania, there's ATMs everywhere. They accept MasterCard and Visa. They're quite easy. Now, there are some reports that you can go to Credin's bank and it's cheaper. My experience is all the banks charge you between $6 to $8 for a transaction. Never really got it for free. One of the great things is they do have free Wi-Fi at some of the banks, so if you're desperate you can get free Wi-Fi near the bank. The other thing you can do here in Albania and the Balkans is you can, if you bring cash, you can change the money and you get really good exchange rates on the US dollar and the euro, especially the euro. So don't be afraid to like use these. You know, if you've got any money you want to change up or change back, this is a really good place to do it, because sometimes it's either as good or better than xe.com, which is fantastic really, because you know, when you go to airports you can lose 20% of your money at these places. So when it comes to Wi-Fi and internet, the best one you can get here is Vodafone here in Albania. You can buy a tourist SIM for 2,100 lek, which is about $18, and you get 35 gigs worth of data. It's the quickest and the fastest. Here in Tirana you can get download speeds on Vodafone of up to 120 megabytes a second. So it's 4G plus, and it's very quick and it's very reliable. I really like Vodafone. There is one tel, but just go with Vodafone. You can't go wrong with it. In terms of healthcare, you want to look for this pharmacy healthcare. Just look for the green cross. They're everywhere, and you don't need a prescription for most medicines. It's very easy to get what you want in Albania. So healthcare is actually really easy to sort out. Most of the pharmacists speak English as well. So from the square here, if you walk, keep the mosque on this mosque on your right hand side, walk down here, that's where the bus stop is, and I'll show you now how to catch buses all over the city. So just off the main square, there's this bit here where all the buses congregate, and you can pretty much catch a bus from this spot here to anywhere, including the airport, all around the city. The average price is between 40 and 100 lek, depending on the bus. So if you've just arrived in Albania, how do you get to and from here? What you want to search for is the ring centre. Go to the ring centre, and there's a big bus station there, and you go all over Albania. Also, you can go to different places like Macedonia and Montenegro from here, and Serbia. So yeah, look for the ring centre. Behind the ring centre, there's a big bus station, and it's like this. There's a travel agent. You can book anything you want from there. Right, so the last thing you need to know is how to get from the airport to the town. Well, you take this one, the Luna bus. Basically, it's in that square I just showed you. You take it to here. So the cost is 400 lek. It takes about 40 minutes. And basically, you walk from the terminal, just turn left, walk down here to the car park. You can't miss it. There are a couple actually. There's one that goes to Fir as well, which is near Vlor. So if you're trying to get to Vlor, you can go there and you can change buses to Vlor quite easily. So the transport is pretty cheap. I don't know how much it will cost to go to Fir. Probably around 1,000. But yeah, that bus runs every hour on the hour. So it's pretty cool, really, pretty easy. So welcome to Tirana International Airport. Here you look at arrivals, and if you walk further this way you can go to departures. As you can see as well, it's really easy to grab a taxi. They're not cheap though. You're looking around $30 to get into town. You're much better taking the $4 bus. Now I just checked in my flight. I'm quite early. I'm about 2.5 hours before the flight. It just took 10 seconds. I mean, I always go carry on. As a budget nomad, you should always go carry on. Never ever check anything in. Very expensive. It's not worth it. Have less. Just carry less shit. Yeah, it took literally 5 seconds. I couldn't believe it how quick it was. The airport is really easy to find food. It's not overpriced. It is more expensive than town, but it's not that expensive. There is an exchange inside. There's also the cafes. They serve alcohol as well. There's a souvenir shop before you go through customs, so that's quite handy.